play with your life. Bank account looking like yikes.
With me, boy. Your hands and your fingers. Your ears with get back, watch you turn to a singer. Get to fighting like this Jerry Springer. All of my sit the back that like a popo. Don't do these they popo. Had a G-Wagon truck turned to Rojo. Find a cable 2 wheels and they going wild down in Soho. One was black and the other was Mexican. Had a like a pollo. Younger than you with a Maybach. Younger than you with a Bentley. From the got in the gently. Ain't been friends with these. Cause when I was down, I so had sympathy. But that's how I go when you broke. Now I'm like mistletoe. This do my own. Not gonna lost on these new clones. Then she asked for a loan. Had to laugh, then I told her get gone. Gon' get that me on. Ain't no give me not a thing. So I spend 90K on my range. You can see all my pain in my watch. Got my ex down and walking around with my hand on my. Cause I'm popping and I know you not. And I know you see just how I'm living. You're not happy with life, so you rockin' Reeboks on treetops, getting walk. Got a big bands like Sasquatch. Every time you see it, with it, no, it's time.
I got that check into golf. A lot of these look lost. They broke, they think it's my fault. No court. I want that court. I'm dripping, I'm stuck with the sauce. But she love you, don't cut your. Reynolds Da Vinci is white. Limited Louis, that's light. Rape in the city, that's light. LED, look at the light. We the ones don't like. But you look too light. Why even play with your life? Bank account looking like yikes. The ops on IG all the time. I dare them go live. Wagyu steak, I dine. 8 ounce, 250.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line.
Hang in there now. Hang in there now.
And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run.
81, 81. Great.
Play action. Now Wentz fights off the defender. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. Eric Kendricks able to get in there and drop him for a 2-yard loss. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play as we'll get a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Eagles coming up here on a 3rd and long, so Wentz and company with some work to do after the sack. Working from the gun, Wentz. He's going to go for a big play downfield. Oh, he almost picked it. Nearly a turnover there on their opening drive. And that's a throw he'd like to have back. Now 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10.
Two. We're going. Let's go. It's a hot.
Cousins now to throw on 1st down. Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their 2nd down call is going to look like now.
Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack. Now a first carry for Latavius Murray. And he'll get this up to about the 40. That'll get them some of what they needed, but they're still left here with a 3rd and 9 forthcoming.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Gone. Black. Where's the hot?
On 3rd down, Cousins. And he's able to find Diggs. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A gain of 32 that time.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play. They picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. A 1st down throw for Cousins. Wide open receiver complete. And down inside the 15 he goes. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another 1st. First red zone chance now for the Vikings. They have a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. From the red zone now, Cousins. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
They'll come up after the sack on a 2nd and 12. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to get it inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. That's what they needed. It's an 8-yard gain, and now 3rd and 4 suddenly doesn't look so bad. And the Eagles will go with an extra DB here as they prepare for a stop on 3rd.
Thinking pass all the way.
A handoff. It's Murray. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
Carlson able to put this one through. And the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. So a pretty good opening drive. That'll make the home fans somewhat happy. They wanted 6, but they got 3 in the early lead.
And they should be happy. The guys look good getting down the field. That's got to give them a little bit of hope that good things are in store here today for them.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The Eagles offense now gets set to head back onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 22. Now it's the Boise State alum, Jay Ajayi. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
On the line.
Back live with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's the Eagles with the ball here to begin quarter number 2. They're looking at a 2nd and short yardage to start things out.
Two jet.
Now it's Ajayi. He works his way forward for a couple up past the 30.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is just going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
Trying a little razzle-dazzle on 3rd and short. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a first down. Officially a gain of just a yard there, but they do convert on 3rd and inches. This is Ajayi. And he'll get this up to about the 40. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. Now they'll throw it. Wentz. Room here to run. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10.
Here we go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And a minimal gain here as he's up to about the 47-yard line. Give the tackle there to Daniil Hunter.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Wentz going to throw. They'll roll him out right. And he's going to lose a yard or two. Taken down behind the line. Everson Griffin able to run him down for a loss of a yard. And the Vikings with an extra defender in the secondary on 3rd.
Playing coverage here.
Go.
From the gun, it's Wentz. And that is incomplete.
Certainly looked like maybe his 3rd or his 4th read on his progression. Just trying to find his outlet man that time. Ends up leading him just a bit too much.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. Taken in at the 11. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. And the Vikings now heading on to the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. A gain of 3, second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. More from Minneapolis after this. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Cousins now on 2nd down. Dancing to his left. And he whips that one incomplete there. You got a young quarterback. Maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy.
Cousins from the gun on 3rd. He's got it complete to Diggs, right side. A Vikings first down. Diggs able to find his way free and get the catch from Cousins.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10.
Rhino! Where's your hot?
They go play action. Cousins. He's got his man on the crossing route. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. A really good pickup of 28 yards. Great patience in the pocket. Of course, it's easy to be patient when the protection's good, and it was.
Yeah, you've got to pat those guys on the helmet and say thanks because they gave him plenty of time to stay back there, survey the field, go through the reads that he wanted to, and deliver the ball accurately. That was really well executed.
And Rudolph has it left side. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. They'll run it now out of the gun. The corner, Ronald Darby, comes up to get him.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much.
Yellow, it's in there. Yellow.
Working out of the gun, Cousins. Oh, he almost had the rare interception. The big fella couldn't hang on, though. Incomplete.
I know ultimately that feels like a good defensive play, but I know it's really not. They had a chance to keep points off the board. Now they have a chance to kick a field goal by missing that shot.
Yeah, especially at this spot in the field. He's got to be upset he couldn't come up with that INT. The kick by Carlson is good. And that will make it 6-0. Still a little bit of time left here in the second quarter, but they do get 3 before the half and expand that lead.
And they have to be happy about that, and we haven't met a team yet that doesn't put an emphasis on trying to get points on the board in the last 2 minutes of a half. They'll be real excited to have those up on the board.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
And just 18 seconds remain till halftime as they come up on 1st and 10.
Trey 15.
Throwing on first is Wentz. And that is incomplete. Down to 15 seconds now. Once again, they'll come up on the 26-yard line, 2nd and 10.
Lions. Go. Right, other side, solid.
Back to the air on 2nd down. Wentz. He's going to launch this thing way down. He rifles one that's intercepted. Mackenzie Alexander with a pick. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. So 3 seconds here remain in the half. On is the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. So this will be spotted on the midfield logo. It's a 58-yard attempt. Online, but off the crossbar, no good. A long-range effort denied 3 points at the very end. So a couple of field goals, that's all we've been able to muster through 2 quarters of play. 6-0 is our count at the break. As we'll send you down to Orlando, we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. They got the win last week despite not having any interceptions. Tried to come up with one there, could not. But there's a stat category called PBU, pass breakup. That's important too, and they got one.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it because at least you're there, knocking the ball away. Offense isn't possessing it, making plays downfield. And you just continue to harass the receivers, harass the quarterback, and maybe the big play does occur down the road.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation.
All right, now here we go. Oh. Wide. Where's the hot?
From the gun, here's Cousins. And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. A big 30-yard play on 3rd.
Tell the truth, partner. You didn't think he was coming down with that one, did you? Come on, tell me the truth.
No, I didn't. I'll tell you what, though. A one-handed grab of that length. Talk about giving your team a little juice.
Oh, big time. I mean, everyone's going to be excited about that one, whether you're on the field or not. It permeates its way through the entire team, and I can't wait to see what they do on the next down.
That goes for a gain of 31. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. On 1st down, Murray. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
That was 2nd down run for Murray. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. The Pro Bowler Fletcher Cox there to get him down.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Throwing is Cousins. This will be caught at about the 6. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Stephon Diggs, his first touchdown on the year. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead. Now Cousins going to bring his guys up for the two-point try. Cousins now. That is caught. He's got it. And the lead will move to 14-0. He hits the big target for the two-point try. Defenses hate those guys, especially around the goal line.
It's hard to decide who you're going to put on him. Are you going to put a smaller corner on him? Are you going to put a safety who doesn't have maybe the same coverage skills? How about a linebacker? He may have the size, but he's not used to really covering in space. That's why the tight end gives you such a great advantage when you're throwing the football.
So here are the Eagles now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. They stay on the ground. Again, it's Ajayi. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. On 3rd and long, it's Wentz. Going up top. He's got him in. Complete. 30. The 20. 10. 5. Touchdown. Philadelphia. Alshon Jeffrey, his first touchdown on the year. And the Eagles have cut it back within a score. Well, you know he can be explosive, and he's ultra-explosive there on the fly route.
And you know how many times we've talked to coaches and we've had quoted back to us, well, you know something? When you execute really well, it doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not. Well, sometimes athleticism beats you as well. He just took off and went. Hey, that's almost like one of your Turkey Bowl games, isn't it? Just go long,
Backyard.
man. I'll hit you. And it worked really well for them.
Elliott good on the extra point, and that'll make our score 14-7. Elliott now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away. Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34.
We're going. We're going. Let's go.
10th carry of the game now. Murray. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give him a new set of downs.
2nd and 1 is often an invitation to take the big shot downfield. I bet the offensive lineman said, are you kidding? We just get on our backs and let's go get the first down. They love being physical.
They go play action here on first down. And eventually taken down here. Great coverage downfield. Derek Barnett in there to sack him for a loss of 6. return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's the Vikings in possession of the football and the lead. They'll be looking to add to that total as we begin quarter number 4. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Throwing, Cousins. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
The Vikings on 3rd down. They've converted 4 times out of 6. Not bad. This is 3rd and 16. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. Fletcher Cox in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a 4th down. Here's Ryan Quigley now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. He only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. This is brought in at the 21. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Here's a handoff to Ajayi to begin the drive. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Play clock down to 3, and we're going to get a timeout here. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. They run again with Ajayi. And some room to maneuver. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. Now, that's one they hate. The ball's got to come all the way back.
So that's an explosive play, a really explosive play that gets wiped out, and they have to start over after the penalty.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this one up close to the 25-yard line. Making the stop there, Danielle Hunter. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back. Those are the ones you focus on and want to take away, and they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
Wentz now to throw. Being chased out left. And some space here. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now 4th down.
Well, it's not going to be a first down, but that's a nice job of picking up yardage on 3rd and long. Sometimes you just have to take what the defense gives you, and in this case, it wasn't enough to pick up the first down.
And this will be taken at the 13. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. Right now clinging to a 1-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs. And the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
Again, it's Murray. And he's going to have just a couple here with a marker on the field as well. So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. On play action, Cousins. And the pressure will get to him. He goes down. Now there is a flag on the play, but this looks like holding on the offense. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No, not at all.
And this 3rd down looking very tough after the holding penalty. 3rd and long. Now Cousins. Looking deep downfield. And that one incomplete. Had some position but couldn't hold on, and it brings up 4th down.
There's definitely contact there, but it's the 4th quarter of a kind of tight game, and sometimes the officials just say, let them play. Kind of like your mom used to, you and your brothers just take the broom to you and send you out to the backyard and tell you to settle yourselves.
I like that, yeah. There was contact. I don't know, like you said, enough to warrant the flag. It was close, though. So a change of possession here on the punt. And this offense takes over in great shape right at the 50, 1st and 10. The Eagles coming out as they get ready. They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. They want to take a shot here.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Linval Joseph coming up the middle, gets him there for a loss of about 9. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Now Wentz. And it's incomplete. This defense has watched their lead dwindle away. This is where they really need to bow up. They executed well there.
And it's often hard after you've played really well early and then you kind of relax a little bit to step on the gas again. They just did it on the last play. Looks like they want to finish this one off.
82, 82. Lions. 74, 74.
Back to throw. Now a desperation throw. And a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off by Harrison Smith. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops.
Brandon, offensively, this has been a tough day for him. Trying to find a place to throw the football. It's been extremely difficult. I've got to give a lot of credit to the secondary, especially the corners who've had the receivers on lockdown.
Hey, flip him.
throwing here. Cousins lets it fly for Thielen. And that is caught one-handed. Oh, my, he pulled it in. A big play there, Cousins to Thielen, and even 50 yards. Well, it's one thing to grab it with one hand, but when you make a catch of that distance, quite another.
Yes, sir. I mean, that one right there, we keep talking about the high-flying antics that we're seeing from receivers nowadays. Doesn't matter what spot they start in, but when it actually does happen in the heat of battle, it brings me right out of my seat.
Every yard they gain, getting them better and better field position, and obviously a field goal makes this a two-score contest. That's really all they need.
And that means for your play caller, he's not looking to the attack portion of his sheet, right? He's looking for, okay, what do we have that's going to keep us in a good spot? No lost yardage plays. Let's kick a field goal and go up 2 scores. If we score a touchdown, great, but that's not what you're really playing for.
A big play to start the drive got him in this position, but this defense has held firm since, and now it's 3rd and goal. They'll run for it. This is Murray. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. And the Eagles are going to go ahead and take another timeout, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to make it a 2-score game. Carlson able to put this one through. And they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. So barring something extraordinary here in the closing stages, that field goal should just about put this one on ice.
Yeah, they've got to find 2 scores. So, you know, we're not going to exactly move it over there yet. It can be done, but, boy, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for them, isn't it?
Yeah, they would have to move incredibly quick and have some luck, too. Here comes Eagle offense now as they get set to take over here. They might be thinking this is close to a lost cause here. Got to play it out. What do they need to do?
Well, they have a thought process in mind already, but they can't get ahead of themselves. They know that they need to score quickly.
Yep, 2-score game.
Onside kick and get the ball back and then score again, but they can't worry about the last 2 points. The only thing that matters is scoring quickly, then they'll take it from there.
They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3.
Shorty.
Back to throw. Wentz. He's going to let it fly. And this is intercepted. And that should do it. Picked off by the former first-rounder Trey Waynes. If you combine last week and this week, he's got a hat trick going because he had 2 interceptions a week ago.
He's seeing the ball so well and understanding where receivers are and positioning. I mean, just watching him work with such great technique and paying it off by actually catching the ball when he has a chance, he's helping his team in a huge way.
Cousins here to throw. Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. And what are the whistles for? Timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. They'll run it now out of the gun. They find some open field here. And he'll be taken down at the 18.
Nice job there defensively on 3rd down. Not only did they string the play out, but they didn't allow any room for a cutback. Really well organized on the defensive side.
And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for Minnesota, they're into the win column for the 3rd time this year as they get the victory here. And they'll get to stay put for a few days as they'll host the Chicago Bears next week. Meanwhile, for Philadelphia, they dipped to 2-5 now with the loss. And they'll be back home next week for a date with the Washington Redskins.